Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honour to be here, and it's an honour to welcome you here to Parliament. Now let us talk of a story of two countries, one of Somaliland and one of Somalia. One country that was granted independence on the 26th of June 1960. That entered into a marriage that did not work. That saw its people subjected to a genocide. That saw its people persecuted. That saw Somalia use every means possible in order to subjugate the people. And at the end of that, it emerged not as a country that was bitter or resentful, but as a country that was determined to deliver peace, that was determined to deliver stability, that was determined to be a beacon for something better in the Horn of Africa. And then we turn our eyes to Somalia, the country that has had billions and billions and billions of pounds spent on it by UK taxpayers, by the US taxpayers, by the European Union, by so many more. That has had its security supported by European, African and other nations. And what do you see? Do you see a nation that can have free and fair elections? No. You see a country that exports terrorism around the world. You see a country that is more interested in the terrorist economy as against the economy of its people. You see a president in Villa Somalia that does not control anything other than Villa Somalia, let alone the country he pretends to be president of. Yet we in Somaliland have a country that has election after election after election, that is both free and fair, where every man and woman can have their say. And actually you see a peaceful transitions of power from one to another. Now that to me says that that is the nation state, not the corrupt, broken, destroyed state of Somalia. As we look to the future, 34 years of building up from the rubble and the destruction that was visited on the people of Somaliland, we can rightly take pride of what has been achieved. But people need to open their eyes. People need to recognise what has been achieved. And not just the United Kingdom, but the United States, the United Arab Emirates, Ethiopia, so many more need to deal with the reality on the ground. That is to recognise the country that has the civic and democratic and judicial institutions that make a state, that gives the freedom of its people in order to be able to determine their future, as against the failed, corrupt state of Somalia. I believe and I hope that this year will be the year that things start to change. But we need to fight and fight more in order to do this. The all-party parliamentary group and Kim and myself as co-chairs of that group have been working on a report to make the case for Somaliland, to make the case of Britain's relationship for the future working with Somaliland. We will be bringing that forward, and I can promise you that while, if it was up to, I think, the two of us, we would recognise it today. Well, certainly, I know if it was up to me, I'd have recognised it quite a few years ago. But we will be your advocates and continue to be your advocates. And we will get there because we have a determination, we have a will, and we have right on our side. And we know that right will ultimately prevail. Thank you ever so much.
kulan ballaaran oo ay soo qaban qaabisay safaaradda Somaliland oo horkacayo danjire Cabdilaahi ayaa lagu qabtay baarlamaanka waddanka boqortooyada Ingiriiska Westminster. munaasabadan ayaa waxaa goobjoog ka ah mas'uuliyiin kala duwan oo ka socda dalka Jamhuuriyadda Somaliland, qaybaha kala duwan ee bulshada Somaliland iyo xildhibaano iyo siyaasiyiin ka socda waddanka Ingiriiska. munaasabadan ayaa waxaa ka hadlay Sir Gavin Alexander Williamson oo ah xildhibaan laga soo doorto amaba kamid ah xildhibaanada golaha baarlamaanka waddanka UK. xildhibaan Gavin ayaa si weyn uga hadlay qadiyadda madaxbannaanida Somaliland isagoo ku nuxnuxsaday in waqtigan la soo gaaray waqtigii caalamku uu aqoonsan lahaa dalka Jamhuuriyadda Somaliland. Sir Gavin Alexander Williamson ayaa ku tilmaamay nasiib darro iyo khasaare weyn in adduunyadu kala kulmay caawimada aadka u ballaaran ee ay siiyeen dawladda Soomaaliya oo uu sheegay wax alla wixii lagu taray inay noqdeen halbacaad lagu lisay isla markaana ay tahay dawlad fashilantay oo aan in loo garbaduuba aanay ahayn Somaliland. Sir Gavin Alexander Williamson oo khudbad dheer ka jeediyay baarlamaanka xuska 18 May